Namah Shivaya, Honorary Chief Guest of the Day, Ms. Veronika Soboleva, respected teachers, and everybody present here. A very warm and refreshing good evening to each one of you. Let us introduce ourselves to you. I'm Anjana and this is Vishal from Computer Science and Engineering Department. Today we have the opportunity to be a part of an amazing session. Before that, let us invoke the God's blessing. For that, I call upon Ganga and Parvati for prayer.
तेजोमयीं नैष्टिकीं स्निग्धापाङ्कविलोकिनीं भगवतीं मन्दस्मितश्रीमुखीं वात्सल्यामृतवर्षिणीं सुमधुरं सङ्कीर्तनालापिनीं श्यामाङ्गीं मधुसिक्तसूक्तिम् अमृतानन्दात्मिकामीश्वरीम् ॐ अमृतेश्वर्यै नमः ॐ अमृतेश्वर्यै नमः ॐ अमृतेश्वर्यै नमः.
It's an honor of mine to be co-hosting today's event. We have with us the honorable guest of the day, Veronika Soboleva, who's currently the director of Department of ICPC Global Foundation and also the director and founder of VS Consultancy, which is specialized in providing services in communication and marketing, helping companies and governments to develop and execute its growth hacking. Her current projects include Harbour Space University, an innovative private university. Okay. Sorry, ma'am? Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, who's the current director of department at ICPC Global Foundation. Her current projects include, she also involved into several international high school programs, being a lecturer for entrepreneurship and international relation classes.
She's a true inspiration to all of us right here, especially to girls like me who aspire to be focused and ambitious as her. May I request everyone to please put your hands together for Veronika Soboleva. Ma'am, we are eager to hear from you, please.
No, she didn't put the presentation on.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you so much for this warm welcome in this beautiful place, and thank you very much for all the organizers who have been working for many years, bringing such initiatives as the ICPC to Amrit University, in particular Maheshwara, Binu, and of course all the leaders and participants of the students' clubs and organizations in computer science. I know we have some students from mechanical engineering, from biotech. So thank you very much for your eager interest and being here today. And before we start, I know that you are all problem solvers, and I know that you are part of the big Amrita family, and soon to become, if you are not yet, soon to become part of the ICPC big family. So I want to challenge you a little bit so that we have more people coming here up front, and so that after this event you all know each other, because we also prepared some refreshments for you outside. So just let's take 2 minutes. Find a person in this room that you don't know yet, at least one person, better 2 or 3, we will check who is the winner, and just try to introduce yourself, learn something about this person, shake hands, sanitize your hands, and come sit forward. Shall we start? Just find one person you don't know yet in this room and try to make friends. Then we will see who made the maximum number of connections. Okay, we have 1 minute left. And how many connections did you do? You have still 1 minute to go. And you can move, by the way. Okay, 20 seconds left. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, he got 4 new connections. Anyone has more? 7. Wow, without moving. So you're a real problem solver. We want to know how you did it. 7. Anyone more? Wow, 8. 5. Are you studying literature or mathematics? Joking. No, we are trying to find if someone made more than 8. So I think here is the winner. Can you please stand up? Who did 8 connections? Oh, okay. Let's give a round of applause. And thank you. You can all please sit. And don't forget to sanitize your hands. This is the reality that we face nowadays. So why we start our session with just making friends? Because I think every hobby, starts with making friends, being inspired by people around you. And I think, I know you are taking your extra time, after classes, coming here. Well, some people, they have a special permission from the teachers, but it's really about enjoying what you are doing, because you are spending your free time, you're learning something new, and you need to make sure that people around you, they are motivated, or sometimes they can be even more motivated than you, and just make sure to build these connections, because it will help you a lot in the future. And while talking about this, I really want to mention the ICPC community. And again, some of you are already part of it. Some of you are soon to become. I've just had a short chat with a few of the guests today, and I know that some of you are looking forward to become a member of this community. So today I'd like to present you what it is, this community, what you can learn from the community, how you can help the community, and what you can do after competing at the ICPC events, and of course how to prepare for those events. So we will start with some general numbers, because I know that maybe many of you have heard that Amrita University is hosting the ACM chapter and is hosting several computer programming clubs and organizing the ICPC competition not only for Amrita University students, but it's actually one of the excellent centers for the whole Asia West region. So many other universities from Asia West, which includes India, of course, are coming here to compete. Okay, it's a team competition. That's why, again, it's important to make friends because you have to have 3 people in your team to compete. And Amrita has been doing it for years, and here are some numbers that I wanted to share with you globally so that you have a broader picture what you can achieve when you start doing competitive programming and like algorithmic programs here at Amrita University. You have amazing opportunities. So first of all, the ICPC competition is one of the largest, it's actually the largest and the oldest programming competition in the world. It has been founded in 1970s, and it's a premier league, you know, for academia, for industry, to shine the spotlight on the talents. And all of you have a huge potential, and it's really the matter of training and motivation to develop those talents. So here are the main goals of the ICPC competition. First of all, is to raise performance, and simply why? Because again, you're meeting with your friends, you're meeting with your team, you are training. So basically, you raise your performance because you are spending more time on that. Then second is to raise aspirations. When talking about raising aspirations, we have to remember that ICPC is a global community. It unites, I'll give you some numbers later, but it unites a lot of universities throughout the world, a lot of industrial partners, academic partners. So you will be part of that big global community. And of course, bringing people together once you are part of the ICPC community, like we did today, just in 2 minutes, some of you did 8 connections, and imagine being part of the global community, coming to our global events, how many valuable connections you can make there. So here are some numbers. ICPC includes 7 continents. Currently, it's 104 countries. Last year, it was 120 countries, but of course, because of the COVID restrictions, some countries couldn't host the events this year. So the numbers are usually slightly higher than this. We have more than 3,406 universities participating. So in each university, there are teams and coaches. So basically, each team has a coach who is helping the team to grow. And you can have your own coaches. It can be your professor, it can be some of the former participants. But you can also find some coaches from other universities as well and train together. Every year we have around 60,000 students like yourself participating in the ICPC globally, and a network of alumni, meaning the people who have already graduated because we have the age limit for participation. The alumni network is more than 350,000 people. So just imagine the number of connections. So you can quickly calculate how much time you need if you can make 8 connections in 2 minutes. How much time you would need to connect with all the 350,000 alumni. It's actually more, it's more than 500,000. But because the competition started in the 1970s, we didn't keep the digital track of all the participants at the beginning. It was all paper, right? So this is the database that we have. It has 643 sites all over the world, and Amrita University is one of these sites. Just imagine the scale. So then I've just mentioned to you it has been founded in 1970s, and it's growing every year. So moving to the next slide. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but if not, please feel free to reach out to me and I can share with you some of those slides. So it's basically all the countries that are, not the countries, the regions that are participating. And this is very important. We are not having the competition of countries because it's all about talents. Talents can be anywhere. So it's really the participation of talents, universities. That's why they are all divided into regions. So Amrita University is part of the Asia West region. And the way it's organized, it's like a football World Cup, or probably here we are more familiar with cricket, right? So basically, there is a team selection on the, first it will be at the university level, then it will be on the local level, and then it will be the regionals, and then it will be the finals of the regionals. So basically, Amrita University is hosting one of those finals for Asia West. And after these finals, the top 135 to 140 teams, they are advancing to the World Finals event. So the World Finals event is the main event, which happens every year. And if we have local competitions happening at one place, usually, sometimes they move, they slightly move because some universities want to host it as well. So, for example, in Europe, they have a shift every 5 years, but here it's more like the same universities hosting it for several years. But the World Finals event is happening at a new place every year. So, for example, last year it was in Moscow, Russia. The year before it was in Portugal, in Porto. The year before it was in Beijing, in China. And this year, in November 2022, it will take place in your region. It will take place in Dhaka, Bangladesh. They are celebrating a big initiative for the country, Digital Bangladesh, and it's part of their anniversary celebration, hosting the ICPC World Finals. So hopefully we can have it also here in India one day soon. Here you could just see the growth of participation year by year, starting from 2011. Here just to give you the idea of how the events look like and different teams who were winning the World Finals. You see the diversity, you see how many different regions are participating, and here are some of the teams. This is the list of universities that I've just also mentioned to you who have been hosting the World Finals year by year. And again, you can see the diversity. So once you become an excellent competitive programmer and you're reaching the World Finals level, you will be able to come and attend all of these events. Moving to the next, I think I've already briefly described to you how the system looks like. So the World Finals event itself, I want to talk a little bit more about that. It's organized exactly like the same way as the local competitions. That's why it's really important to come and participate in local competitions, because it provides you more opportunities to train yourself to become a better problem solver. So basically you'll have 5 hours to solve a certain number of questions, number of problems. It's typically between 10 and 15 problems. In Moscow, the previous World Finals, we had 15 problems, and we will talk about those problems a little bit later. The only difference is that at the World Finals, it's almost a 1-week program, so that all the students who have been working so hard during the year, they are coming to the World Finals. They can not only, compete and meet each other, but they can also have fun. They can discover the new city, the new location, make new friends, and meet with other universities. So it's a very nice event. This is how it looks like. Again, we can compare it to the Football World Cup, or probably I should have put a different picture here about the Cricket Cup. And just so that we are not only talking about the event, I wanted you to have a little bit of feeling, of experience of how the World Finals look like, and also how the local events can be. Actually, Amrita is hosting an amazing event. In case you are not participating as a competitor, you can always join and become a volunteer, or you can just join the club, start training to become a participant in the future, and you will be invited to be part of those events. So can we play a video now, please? I think there is a sound. are you inspired? I cannot hear you. Are you inspired? Let's stand up, shake hands, give a round of applause to the future winners of the ICPC, maybe sitting here. So you may say, okay, that all sounds good, but how do I end up there? You know, it's such a long path, right? First of all, I have good news for you. Every region that I've just shown you on that slide here, it has a certain amount of slots. Because, of course, you know, the level of computer science, at the universities, you know, the curriculum are slightly different. So we make sure that every region can have a chance to be participating and represented at the World Finals. That's why every region has a slot. So in order to get to the World Finals, you have to become the best team in your region. Sounds better, right? So, I mean, you are not competing in the global ranking, but you are competing within your region to get to the World Finals. This is the first good news. Second, I've just mentioned to you that the ICPC World Finals in November will be taking place in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And I can tell you that this team has been working really, really hard. Not only these teams, but teams from that universities, you know, hosting the event, have been working for many, many years to make sure that the team advances to the World Finals and can host the ICPC World Finals event. I know that at the moment we don't have many teams from Amrita University that could advance to the World Finals level, but it shows that you have a good chance. And if you start training early enough, and I think now you have a big understanding, a big interest in that, then you can have all the chances, and hopefully in the next year we can see Amrita University team coming to the advancing to the World Finals. But you need to work hard. Again, it all sounds good, right? But how do I start? Where do I start? What can I do? And what can I do next? For example, some of you may say, okay, I understand I can spend a lot of my, you know, time and energy preparing for this World Finals event, but what's next? How it will help me in my career, because today's topic is how ICPC can help you for your future career. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. Again, I'm not sure if it is very clear here because it may be a little bit small, the screen, for those people who are sitting in the middle, but again, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll be glad to send you the slides with all the links. So first of all, I wanted to share with you about a new project that we launched during the Corona epidemic time. It's called ICPC University Commons. Basically, this is a new project that is going throughout the year. And during the year, we are providing free trainings. We are providing some materials from different topics, from different domain of the industry. Like, for example, we organize a lot of different challenges so that you can learn about some new areas. Like we did recently the Game AI Challenge. You know, for those who are interested in gaming and who are studying AI, they could see how to apply that. We also did the Quantum Challenge. So quantum is a new area in computing, and maybe not many of you are familiar with it yet, but the way the challenge has been organized, we provided several stages of materials, and you could study them, you could ask questions, and then you could participate in the challenge and learn about it. So make sure to check out, and at the end I have all the links, make sure to check out the ICPC University page. Here are some of the events that I've just listed. It included those challenges. It also included some lectures from the former world champions, for example, or from the former participants and ICPC alumni who are currently working in the industry. We've started the whole cycle of ICPC alumni lectures. Its project chair is from Berkeley University, Jelani Nelson, and what we do almost every month, we're inviting new speakers who have been participating in the ICPC and who are currently focused on research at their universities. So basically they're sharing the latest achievements in the research work for those who are more interested into the research rather than industry. So basically it combines both industrial expertise through challenges as well as research. And of course after these lectures you can easily reach out to the speakers, because if you say that you are part of the ICPC community, believe me, all the doors will be open to you, and people will be more than happy to help you because it's the spirit of the community. That's why we need to make friends wherever we go. It's just to give you some examples. You can go to the ICPC Live YouTube channel, and we have all the lectures that have been posted there. There was a short break now because it's the end of the academic year, but we're about to restart the new cycle of lecture next month. And you have plenty of other topics that you can start looking at. Then you can ask me, okay, you have all this community, alumni, what are they doing now? How I can connect to them, okay? So we did a small survey, small, comparatively small. It was 30,000 people from a sample of participants who have participating between 2015 and 2020. So we tried to analyze what kind of jobs they are doing, where are they working, what kind of positions, who is into research. And we found out that most of them, precisely, I'll tell you the numbers, more than 20,000 out of the sample of 30,000 are currently having the engineering jobs, like software engineers or developers in IT companies. Around 3,000 of them, they are executives, like founders of startups or co-founders of startups, and we will talk about them a little bit later. And around 5,000, they are going into research and development. So they are becoming professors, they are becoming data scientists, data engineers. So basically it opens the path to all possible directions. Either you want to become a researcher, work in academia, or you want to be a researcher or developer and work in the industry, or you would like to create your own startup. And believe me, if you are into this startup path, again, if you raise funds, being the ICPC alumni, it makes things so much easier. We see these examples coming up quite frequently because the former ICPC alumni, some of them, they have their own funds and they are looking into the new projects and they are happy to support the ICPC alumni projects as well. Moving to the next slide, you definitely cannot see anything on this slide, but it's done on purpose because it's the list of top 200 companies who are employing ICPC alumni. And the bottom line is that you can find the companies from all possible sectors that you can imagine. It includes, of course, traditional sectors like software companies. It includes telecom companies. It includes, guess what, banking. It includes companies like Tesla, Uber, NASA, and guess what? Elon Musk company, Tesla and Tesla and SpaceX, they have more ICPC alumni than NASA, the National Space Agency in the United States. So it gives you some hints, right? That with the right qualifications, maybe smaller amount of talents, but right talents, you can achieve a lot. Like building such a company like SpaceX or Tesla in such a short time, it requires you a lot of not only knowledge and skills, but also it requires you to work very hard and be able to solve very hard tasks in a short time. And that's what we do at the ICPC, right? If you remember, we talked at the beginning, you have only 5 hours. You have to solve 10 to 15 problems, 0 mistakes, because if you have mistakes, of course, you lose some points. So this kind of training that you can start yourself with your university chapter here today will allow you to have a job in such great companies that we've just mentioned. I will not list all of them, obviously, but again, I'm happy to share those slides with you. And whenever you search someone on LinkedIn, you can easily find ICPC alumni who are working in those companies. It includes, as I said, Tesla, SpaceX, Uber, Booking, Airbnb, all different types of banks, fintech industry. Now algo trading is super popular, and there the count goes precisely on like milliseconds. And this is where the skills are really, really important. Just to list you a few alumni, you can see Adam DeAngelo. Probably many of you know Quora. So he is the co-founder and CEO of Quora. He was the CTO, the first CTO of Facebook. So he's a close friend of Mark Zuckerberg. And Adam is planning to come to the next ICPC World Finals. So again, it should be another motivation for you to work hard, coming to the World Finals event and meeting people like that. Tony Shi, unfortunately, he passed away recently. He was a brilliant competitor and the CEO of Zappos and one of the top managers at Facebook as well. So you see, ICPC creates a lot of connections so that people can find their team, create their team, and working on the same project. Then Craig Silverstein, he was the ICPC World Champion in 1993, and he was the first employee of Google. And guess what? If you look at the Google logo and you look at the ICPC logo, don't you think it's a little bit similar? Basically, it's Craig and his friends who really enjoyed the ICPC competition, and they wanted to keep those colors. They just added a little bit of green, but it originated from there. Did you know that the Facebook like was created by one of the ICPC alumni? The like that we're now using everywhere. So basically, the world is surrounded by this kind of examples, and I will just also list Mati Zaharia, the creator of Apache Spark, the CTO of Databricks, working with data. And let's make another short survey. How many of you are using Telegram? Wow, I would say it's like 80%. You know who is the founder of Telegram? It's two brothers. Pavel Durov, you maybe heard about him. He's a big entrepreneur. And his brother Nikolai Durov, who is actually the former ICPC alumni. And they created this project together, of course. So just think about it. I hope it will become an inspiration for you that starting doing the competitive programming, you will achieve such an excellence, you will achieve such a level by doing more competitions, by checking more archives and materials, that one day, as I said, maybe we will meet the world champion here, or I'm sure we'll meet a lot of successful entrepreneurs, startup founders, software engineers in the top companies, all here. And something I would like to mention, don't forget, once you've graduated, after you did the competition, try to make sure to bring what you've learned here, because this is the only way that the knowledge can be transferred and the new teams can become better. Because if all the students are starting from zero, starting from the same level of training, it will be really difficult. So all the things that you, so in that way, once you achieve something, make sure it serves to someone else. Moving to the next, here is a list of companies that are the main employers of the ICPC community. Probably you can see it a little bit more clear here, but it's divided again into the regions that we have at the ICPC, like South Pacific, Northern Eurasia, North America, Latin America, etc. And we have Asia West. If you can check, it's the fourth line from the bottom. It's Asia West. So let's check. The main employer from Asia West, ICPC alumni, is, guess which company? Okay, probably you could read, but that's correct. It's Amazon, then Microsoft, then Google, and then Facebook. So you see all the top tier companies. So basically, once you have this ICPC notion and good results, not just the notion, but the good results, or even volunteering experience on your resume, it helps you a lot to pass the entry interviews. Because there is a big chance that someone interviewing you would be an ICPC alumni, right? And he would want to have someone with a similar mindset, helping the community. He might want to have, he or she might want to have people like you in the team. And it's also, they all know about the ICPC, so for them it's an extra point because it's an extra curriculum activities. The recruiters, they all know that you are working hard to get to the certain level of the competition. So never miss this opportunity because it will be a differentiation factor. If you have a competitor for the same job who didn't participate or volunteer for the ICPC, it will actually help you a lot in getting the job. Moving to the next slide, we briefly talked about this notion of sharing and supporting the next generations and next students, who will be competing after your success. So here we have some initiatives listed here, because as a foundation, we not only do the educational trainings, but we do some initiatives for uplifting more people and showing the path towards the education, towards competitive programming training. So specifically for uplifting women and children. And I'm very honored to say that we're launching, basically we already launched, but there will be a big launch this year of the program called Algo Queen. Doesn't it remind you of something? Algo Queen? So this is the initiative of Amrita University, of course. This initiative will be focused on inviting more girls from high schools and universities into the programming. Because in many times, like, let's see how many girls we have here today. Don't you mind to stand up? We do another count. And by the way, I'm waiting on your number. How many connections you can do in, how much time do you need to do 350,000 connections? Oh, we have quite a lot of girls. It's a little bit hard to count. That's amazing. Actually, I want to give ask everyone to give a big round of applause to all the girls. Because, thank you so much. Because if you look at most of the companies, if you look at the engineers working at the companies, it's a lot of boys, right? And we found out that sometimes it takes a very small effort just going and inviting girls from girls' schools that you have here in Asia West. I think you have a lot of separate schools here. Just by inviting them, they can eagerly join, and they're happy to learn more about computer programming, competitive programming, and then they become the excellent engineers. So it's also an invitation to everyone. If you know, like, any girl at your university, maybe at the first or second year, or if you know some girls who are graduating from their high school, please reach out to them, share with them what is competitive programming, what is programming in general, so that they can consider this path for their future careers. I think we don't need to talk about the careers here because we've already listed the amount of companies and their profiles here. And I'm sure you will find the best examples to show them how they can apply their knowledge. Regardless, you take any sector, or you can ask me any sector, and I will give you an example of a perfect application of competitive programming. Or we can try it right now. You can give me some examples. Let's take medical industry. How would you be able to apply competitive programming in the medical industry? Any ideas? We have a mic there, so maybe someone would like to answer this question. How would you apply your programming and especially competitive programming skills in the medical industry? You have a big hospital here, AIMS, right? So maybe you can come up with some ideas for AIMS. Anyone wants to comment? I cannot see your hands. Just think creatively. What you can do to improve the quality of the patient's life or the services provided at the hospitals. Any ideas? Because you have to come up with these ideas, you know. It's not just being a programmer, but it's becoming the architect. You have to build these new systems. Like when Facebook was created, Facebook didn't exist. When Quora was created, Quora didn't exist. So it's also one thing you should try to nurture in yourself. It's coming up with some new ideas and building them. So I think we have one answer already.
I think we can improve robotic surgery by improving the code every time. Like, when people compete to improve the code, the surgery, the efficiency of the equipments can increase.
Absolutely. So again, this is the connection between medical industry and computing and how you can use robots in it. Anyone else? I think someone here has an idea. You? Well, you have to come up with one now.
Ma'am,
Like how? Oh, take another industry. What are you studying? Computer science. So can you give us some ideas of the future applications of the computer science that you are working on? What's your dream? Dream big. It can be anything. Okay, it will be your homework. Anyone else? Do you have an idea of something that you would like to design and where those skills will be much required? Not just copying what exists, not just doing the development or programming, but really coming up with some ideas like Facebook, Quora, Zappos, Telegram. Anyone? Well, I know you cannot come up with this idea in just 2 minutes like we did at the beginning, but try to think about this question. I will not give you the answers and the examples because I want to make sure you can think properly about what kind of new applications you can bring to this world to make this world a better place. Moving to the next. Basically here, one thing I forgot to mention, you can see on the list that I've mentioned to you about this Algo Queen initiative, so you will be probably receiving more information in the upcoming month. That's something we are going to launch, and we have big international sponsors for that program, including IBM Quantum Computing. So the idea is also to teach such new industries like quantum to the students at schools. And please don't understand me wrongly. It's not only limited to girls. It's really to encourage the girls to join the program because we can always see this kind of disbalance because girls are not invited somehow. So we want to make sure they are invited and you can play a big role in that. But it will be open for everyone. So we'll be organizing this kind of quantum trainings, different challenges, and it will be also related to the curriculum at high schools and to the curriculum at the university. So stay tuned for the Algo Queen hosted by Amrita University. And one of the other initiatives that I listed there, it's 2020 question mark. So our dream is, of course, one day to bring the World Finals to Amrita University, to Kerala. And I would request everyone to think about how we can do it. If you are willing to participate, if you have some ideas, you are very welcome. You have all the chances to do it one day, and we will work from our end as well to support this event. So it's on our plan. We just don't know yet, but hopefully once we launch this Algo Queen initiative, we will have more visibility. And now we will have more volunteers joining the ICPC who will be eager not just to participate in the ICPC World Finals, but one day to host it. Maybe once you become a chief technology officer of Google or Facebook, you can decide and you can provide some sponsorship support to Amrita University to host this event. That would be really great. So now we are moving to the final slide because I know many of you have other plans today and I don't want to take too much of your time. I would rather prefer leaving some time for questions and also for some networking. Again, we have some refreshments waiting for you outside. But this is one of the most important slides that I wanted to share about the resources. Because many people ask me, how to start? Where can I start? What can I do? Very simple. First of all, I would suggest you can go to the ICPC official website, icpc.global. And again, I'm sending these links to the organizers and then they can share it with you. On the ICPC-U, ICPC University, we are posting all the events happening every month, open to all the community. And those events, it's not only the challenges and the competitions, but it's a lot of trainings. So make sure you check that out and you can learn about some new areas that we're bringing from the industry and we are approaching from the level of competitive programming. So second is ICPC-U, ICPC Global, as I mentioned, is the global website. It has two interesting features that I would like to mention. I mean, it has a lot of features, but there are specifically two that I would like to mention. First is you have the archive. You have the archive of all previous ICPC problems for many, many years. And you know that every year, as I was requesting you to share your knowledge with new teams, that's the reason is very simple, because every year the problems at the World Finals are becoming harder and harder and harder, because we need to raise the bar of excellence. If you remember my first slide, we don't want like students to stay at the same level. We want to raise this bar of excellence together. That's why it's very useful to go through their archive, maybe starting from some older problems and moving to the recent ones. It will help you a lot in your trainings. You have plenty of materials that you can use at your computer club. The second thing is if you go to the calendar of regional events, of course you will see when the local event is happening. It will be announced on that same website and the calendar. But also make sure to check out the calendar, because we have some open online competitions from other regions. Like for example, recently we had a North American qualifier, and it was precisely for like North American teams to advance to the North America finals, but it was open to all, meaning you can learn and compete with teams from different regions. You can see the difference in your level. This way you can identify, okay, what I'm lacking, what I'm missing, why I didn't solve the problem as good as the MIT team, for example. So this is also a very nice opportunity. It's happening throughout the year, just you need to check this calendar quite regularly. And we are also sending the quarterly newsletters, and usually in these newsletters it's also being announced when there are new dates available. So I've already mentioned about the ICPC archive. I'm moving to the ICPC Live. We've talked about the ICPC Live channel on YouTube when I was discussing about the alumni initiative. But just make sure to log in from time to time. We have live streaming, and we are showing some live events from other regions, like finals, for example. This way you can also see the problems. We have some former ICPC participants and winners who would be there, who will be commenting on these problems, like the same way we do during the World Finals. We organize the live broadcast, and you can see the problems. And at the same time, simultaneously, you can listen to former alumni who are explaining these problems to you, who are commenting on that, who are trying to find the best solution for the problem. So it's also a very good way to learn watching this channel. So you can subscribe. And of course, you have tons and tons and tons of online training platforms. I am just listing a few of them, like you have Codeforces, you have Katis. You have this, the third logo is very interesting. It's a new initiative. Actually, it's been hosting the Amrita University events as well. It's called Code Drills. It's organized by 2 students from India who are currently working at Google in London. And they just decided to create this platform so that students can go there and practice more. And I'm sure many of you, you've heard about CodeChef, because also it started here in this region. So you can choose any of those platforms. It's all international communities. I think Codeforces is one of the largest. And just, you can go there, practice, you can see the like the trainings and the competitions that happened before, and you can also join the new ones. So with this, I would like to finish the presentation. You have my email address here if you want to reach out with any questions. Otherwise, we will make sure that the organizers will share the slides with all of you who have registered to the event. And this is the main link of the ICPC Global website. Don't miss to check it out. So thank you very much, and we can have some time, if you have time, for the questions. I'll be glad to answer them. Yes? I think you are so silent because you are dreaming about your new project, application of competitive programming in your new project, right? We have one question here. Can we have a mic? Thank you. Oh, you can come here. You can come here and ask, or you can say and I repeat the question, no problem. It's okay, yeah. That's a good question. The question is, can you hear me? It's a good question. I think that is in mind of many of you. How do we crack the ICPC? Because this team has just started competing 3-4 years ago, and some students have been doing it for 7-8 years. Well, first of all, there is a limit of the participation, right? You can participate until you're 23 years old, right? So you still have a limited time when you can prepare, but it's true that many students now more and more, they start the preparations at the school level. Again, what I mentioned is that the good news for you is that the slots for the World Finals are allocated for each region. So I think you have a much more fair competition with your region because there are not so many teams who have been doing it for 8 or 9 years compared to some other regions, for example. This is the first thing. Second thing is practice. It's really practice, making sure you have not just weekly meetings. I mean, I've talked to several World Finals champions. Okay, I'm always asking, what is your secret? What is there behind? And it's always the same answer, it's the practice. So they say that the average teams, they train at least like several months before the World Finals. Average teams, they train maybe 1 time per week. Good teams, they train couple of times per week. And couple of times, it means they have the full training, like almost 5 hours, right? 5 hours, they do the full competition. But the champion team, at least the ones that I know, before the World Finals for several months, they were doing 3 trainings per week. So it's an extra 15 hours. It's a lot of, indeed, a lot of extra work and dedication, but this is how you can really crack that. The other thing, I think we've discussed about this at the beginning, make sure you have good friends supporting you in your team, because this team spirit helps a lot. And sometimes, you know, one person is a little bit lazy or wants to sleep, but having the good partners in your team will motivate you to go forward and to keep training. Then there are some other tips, you know. I know that some teams are bringing their mascot to every training and to the World Finals. So it kind of gives them the focus and the concentration. Some other teams, precisely the current world champion, I ask them, what do you do during the competition to achieve such great results? And for example, you know, we are providing a lot of snacks during the competition so that you can charge your brains, right? Some chocolates, also some food, but they don't eat anything. Basically, they just drink water, not even soda, they just drink water. And they say that for them it keeps to get the full concentration so that you don't start your digestion process, but you really focus on the tasks, and then you can have a nice meal. There are a lot of small things, and once you are at the ICPC events, again, I would encourage you to meet the winners at the event, unless, of course, I hope one day it will be you, but in case it's not you, you can go to the winners and talk to them, see how do they prepare. But again, it's practice, 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 and then the excellent results. Training, practice, like, and repeat, repeat, repeat. This is how it all works, because you need to achieve the excellence. It's like the athletes, basically. How do you break a record? You just keep trying to break it. This is how it works. And one day, believe me, you will see the results very clearly. Even if it is not at the ICPC event, it will be a great result at one of your future job interviews, for sure. So it will not be waste. I saw some questions here. Anyone? Then behind? Anyone behind? Oh, I see. Can you come here? Would you like to or you have a mic now?
Yeah, so while attending contest and everything, like while solving the question, like maybe we would submit the wrong submission, right? So eventually we will be getting it, but like how to overcome that negative submissions, so that, and how do it impact our scoring and everything?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Well, of course, the wrong submission is a wrong submission. Like, how do you, like, deal with it? Is you do right submissions, but of course, it's not the answer that you want to hear. Well, I can share again with you some tips that some teams are doing. I don't know if it is the case of your team. Usually, like in every team, we have 3 people. And usually one person is focused to just check all the problems so that they can solve very fast the easy problems that they know they will have the right submission, and then to leave more time to focus on harder problems and to make sure that they can find the right submission. Also, the team is usually divided between the people. There is always someone who is very good in math. There is someone who is really good in coding. Because sometimes it's good to separate. Maybe you have the right solution, but you do some errors in coding, and it can cause a wrong submission. So maybe strengthening someone in your team who is good in math, and also making sure that the other person who is supporting that is excellent in programming. This way you can limit the risks of the wrong submissions. Okay, I think we've got enough of questions, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You have my email address. We will send you all the materials, and I really wish you a lot of inspiration, a lot of strength, a lot of success on this path for becoming the excellent problem solver and joining the ICPC family. Thank you very much for your patient listening, and see you soon.
What an amazing session. It was worth every second hearing from you, ma'am. I'm sure that a lot of students here must have learned a lot of stuff regarding ICPC. With that, it's time to conclude our session. I would like to once again thank our esteemed guest, Miss Veronika Soboleva, ma'am, for the wonderful session, and all the teachers present here today, and the students who made this session a really fruitful one. Thank you once again.
All the students, could you please stay back so that we can take the attendance and give you the refreshment?